Tá valendo, meu querido?
Agora eu bebo,
Verdade.
mas...
Naquela época.
Não.
O que você acha da nova vocalista do Linkin Park?
Achei muito boa.
How much money you make in a year?
Você quer saber quanto que eu faço?
Senhoras e senhores,
Não,
vocês viram
a
que-
gente vai...
Looks like we made it. Look how far we've come, my baby.
Когда я говорите по-русски?
Pera aí, agora fala aqui que
Meu
você...
Deus, parece a Daenerys falando aí.
First lessons I learned in compensation is anyone that feels that they're happy with their pay, they're overpaid.
Nossa, bem de pertinho. Ó que delícia esse som.
Prazer estar aqui com vocês, assim, muito legal mesmo, assim, super
Não, e
bacana.
a gente também
tá
tá aqui
junto.
graças a você, né?
Brand Moore?
More.
More.
Yes, not less, but more.
More. Ah, beautiful.
And the
Brand.
big question is, during the Sunday lunch, only Coke. Your family are allowed to drink.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. All day.
See,
every
not
day.
so difficult. So,
If we're going to do questions like that, then I'm good.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
they're
this.
great.
Where
Yeah.
it came from?
Originally?
Yeah,
Originally, I'm from Madison, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yes.
It's beautiful there?
It is. It's a different kind of beautiful. It's not Florida beautiful.
Uh-huh.
Lots of, we have seasons there.
Mm-hmm.
Not like
yeah,
Florida,
here is
it's
only
just hot.
summer.
Yeah.
Or raining.
Raining.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you know, like here in America, what do you think is something good to share, and what do you think that could be better? Two things. Yeah.
What's good to share about total rewards and what could be
Or-
better?
Or about anything.
Oh, about
What about
not
America?
about professional.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's good to share?
Like to tell to another
Coke.
one, like because it's beautiful.
No,
It's something that it make you proud.
Yeah.
I'm proud of our brand. Can I
Uh-huh.
say that?
Yeah.
Coca-Cola brand is amazing.
I was in
I
Atlanta.
always say,
There's a museum and all this stuff. Oh, beautiful.
It's beautifully overwhelming, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
how can I say gole? Como que é gole?
Golly.
Sip.
Sip. I always say the first sip of a Diet Coke is like a
Heaven.
kiss, Jesus kiss, in my
Your
forehead.
forehead. It feels like Jesus is kissing my forehead. So it fills all my empty blanks, so my heart, and so
Love it.
Good. And what one thing that could be better?
One thing that could be better. More people drinking Coke.
I'll
You are a
build it.
huge fan. For how long have you been working over there?
Only 4 years, actually.
4 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they train us early.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I'll build onto Brent's answer here. So, Brent, do you have dirty soda in Florida?
Dirty soda.
Yeah. So that's a Utah trend.
Yeah.
So Utah has a company called Swig. We also have other companies called Thirst, So Delicious, Fizz. And what they do is that they take Coke products and the competitors' products too, and they add more flavor to it. So for example, I thought it was a really weird thing at first, right? Because I'm like, why are we adding sugar to sugar? But Utah, you got to remember, it has a large Mormon population, right? And Mormons don't drink. So they get to be adventurous with beverages by doing this.
Dirty soda
Yes.
for Mormons, yeah. So they
So-
add like syrups.
Yeah, they add syrups, flavors, natural, artificial. So I was reluctant. For 3 years, I didn't drink it.
Yeah.
And then I finally tried one called the Big Owl. Owl was the name of the founder. And it's Diet Coke, coconut cream, fresh limes. And it's actually delicious.
Sounds like a stomach ache.
It's delicious.
Stomach ache.
And it's diet, right? So at least it's not adding sugar to sugar. But there's like a bunch of different options, and it's now getting out of Utah. They're expanding to other states.
Yeah.
So that's a weird thing about our brand.
Yeah,
It's being used in a different way.
That is very true. I don't think I would try that one. But I would try a different one maybe. Yeah.
They have a Dr. Pepper too, with some other flavors and some other odd
Interesting.
mixes.
Have
Yeah.
you guys tried dirty soda?
No.
No, never.
It's
Would
my
you-
first time hearing this.
It don't sound something that I would taste. It doesn't sound.
But what are you doing in this world that is fighting against soda and all this stuff that make with sugar? And sugar is good. And another one is gordura trans. How can I say?
Fat.
Trans fats.
Trans fat. Trans fat, sugar. It means delicious.
Yeah,
but
I'm like, this is America. Everything tastes good here because we use all that stuff.
But you need but you need to have another products because the population is changing the way
We
they
do. We
consume.
have water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
We got more. We got lots of, we got tea brands, right? We got
Yeah.
teas that have artificial sweeteners or unsweetened. We have natural juices, right? Minute Maid brand. We have lots of dairy products. So a lot of Americans, probably this is not a popular brand in Brazil, but there's a company here called Fairlife.
Fairlife.
And that's a Coke company. So we have Fairlife, chocolate milk, strawberry milk, and they also have protein shakes,
Yeah.
different types. So it's a big one. I drank that one a lot.
You know a lot about
Yeah.
Coca-Cola. How many brands do you have, Coca, all over the world?
I don't know.
1,000.
We carry at least 50 to 100 different
Yeah.
things,
Wow.
if not more.
Same.
And have you ever been to this store in Magic Kingdom where you can taste all the
Yes.
Coke flavors
Yes.
and
Yes, it's amazing. Have you been there?
No, but that's called the break room behind my office.
I mean, that's true too.
yeah, do you have that in
Before
the
I
office?
started working for Coke, I went there and I went around the world, is what it's called, to try all of the different flavors of Coke in different parts of the country, and it is very different.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Could you tell me top 3 challenges you have in your table right now?
Ooh, top 3 challenges. Within total rewards,
Yes.
pay.
Pay.
There's always pay. The challenge is that people want to pay based on how they feel. I feel that this person should make more money. That's really great. But that's not how compensation works, unfortunately. I feel that we should all know that you can't do that, but here we are. My next challenge would be making sure that people have that education to understand why and how our compensation structure is built the way that it is. It's extremely important as a leader to make sure that whatever it is that you feel that you need on your team, that you're able to back it up with the facts based on our compensation philosophy. If by chance those things are doing something different, then we have issues, right? My next one would be knowledge about all of our benefits. We offer so many benefits. I've worked extremely hard this past 12 months with trying to make sure that we are addressing learning on every platform. So if you are a person that likes little TikTok, YouTube videos, then we've made videos. If you're a reader, then we've put out any kind of articles for our benefits. If you're a person who likes to just kind of see it, then we've got postings everywhere. So we've tried to hit every single sense that we possibly can to communicate our benefits and what we have to offer. We have all these great things, but it is so difficult to try to get the word out because not everyone learns the same. So we're trying to hit all platforms.
It's different. Like for the second challenge, my question is how many responsibilities, if I can divide this, the manager has and the TR professional has? Because, like I know about the philosophy, I built this, but the way I communicate or I spread these to all the company, I think is my responsibility. But
absolutely. It's
what do
our
you think in
responsibility.
percentage could it be?
So what we do is we require all of our leaders to go through a total rewards course. So they are well educated within what it is that we do, how we do it, our whole compensation philosophy and structure. So in order to understand it, in order to understand it, we have to give them the correct tools to be successful. So they actually attend that course and they're able to reach out with any questions that they may have. It's fine until they feel like I want to give this person $60 more an hour. So that's the challenge. Even though they are aware of the compensation philosophy and they are knowledgeable on what we do and how we do it. It's still the battle between the feelings and the knowledge.
And did you start your career in total rewards field? Because in Brazil, it's very odd when people say, "Oh, my first job was as a TR analyst," and that's not common at all.
No.
People start in other areas and then suddenly they are doing compensation. How it was?
So I've always been in HR in some fashion, and I was in I've been in every single role in HR.
Wow.
And total rewards, I'm old, so benefits compensation was what I really enjoyed. I love math, I love science, I love all of that comes with wellness. So it was what I found to be the most enjoyable for me. So that's kind of how I found my niche and stuck with it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And last question: are you happy with the money you're making?
No one is happy with the money that they're making. No one. Please show me one person who says I make too much money. That person doesn't exist.
How
One of
much-
the first rules first lessons I learned in compensation is anyone that feels that they're happy with their pay, they're overpaid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Significantly.
How much money would you like to make?
You can
An
tell us a
unlimited
range.
amount of money. So I don't want to have a limit on how much money I make. Is that okay?
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys going to pay me that? For the podcast?
Emotional salary. How can I say that? Can I do this?
Can you pay something emotional? Thank you so
I can give you a
much.
hug.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take hugs.
Terry Zipper?
Yes.
Good. It's a pleasure to be here with you in Quinto de Ouro podcast from Brazil. And my first question is, do you have a session?
I did.
Was or you're gonna be?
Yeah. No, it was the first thing Monday morning, so it was kind of nice being
yesterday.
one of the first ones up. Because then I got to relax and then just
now
enjoy
you're
the
just
show.
enjoying. Yes.
What was the subject?
So the subject was data transparency for creating a culture for data transparency for better business outcomes. So I was speaking with Julia Avery from Mass Mutual.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the work that they've been doing on really just creating that culture and making it okay for people to feel comfortable with the idea of sharing data, especially around pay. It's always been a challenging topic, but now it's being codified into law, so you pretty much have to do it in a lot of places, and pretty soon it'll be everywhere.
If I could measure these subjects, transparency here in America, talking about compensation, in 1 to 10, what do you think is the position of this?
I think, in terms of in the U.S., there's still a lot of states that have not passed laws to do it. So it's probably 50-50 at this point. But a lot of organizations are doing it because they cut across state lines. So they have people in a state that's doing it. And so now they can't, be transparent in one state and not be transparent in another. And a lot of it, is revolving around, probably the biggest thing is sharing pay ranges and sharing the job range and job postings and things like that. So it's not necessarily, hey, I'm going to tell you what I make, but at least you have a better idea of what the ranges are for the job that you're applying for and what to expect. And I think what we're seeing as a result of that, I was looking at the ADP, some of their sentiment analysis, and the actual numbers for people that feel like they're paid unfairly is going down. So I don't have a direct correlation. I don't have a line to show that's really correlated. But I mean, the reality is we're starting to see those numbers go down, and people are starting to feel like they at least know why they're paid what they're paid. They may want to make more. Everybody wants to make more, right? But they may at least understand why they make what they make, and they don't feel like, less and less so, they don't feel like they're paid unfairly.
Yeah. The sense of justice could be this, like
Yes.
justice, yeah. And here in America, do you have numbers like to understand this control about men and women? Because in Brazil we have a a huge disproportion on that is not equal. But we are, I think, is more. How can I say? It's not fast. The opposite of fast is
Slow?
Slow. I forgot
Wait, is this a
word.
trick question?
Yeah.
I was thinking slow.
It's slow. Is the way I think is slow. Yeah, it's not so fast. It's going, but it's slowly. So
Yeah.
here in America, do you have numbers like to understand this comparison? Just for men and women, not another. I think we have gender and other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I don't have specific numbers on that. I don't know what the numbers are for men versus women. They did show those numbers based on like level in the organization. So obviously the higher you are in terms of executive level, you feel more fairly paid than as you go down down the chain to the frontline workers. Those numbers were a little bit higher, but definitely, you know, we have the same challenge here in America with gender, you know, male, female thinking, you know, there's still a gap. And so I do think this is another reason why this is helping, because people understand what the range is, and then it's about what are your skills and where should you be in that range related to, you know, your skills and maybe what you've delivered and done in the past, with less focus on what was your prior pay? Because obviously I think that's a place where people feel like they've been hindered by getting to that next level because they were in a job when they weren't paid quite as well, but they were doing the same job. And then they go somewhere else and the organization looks at, well, you know, what they were making previously. So I think that going away has helped, especially women in the workforce.
Oh. Would you like to ask us?
Yeah. And for pay transparency, I think education is something that needs to come together when you talk about this subject in a company. And for those companies that have never talked about pay transparency or are afraid of, what do you say like the first, so baby steps for these companies? And for this leader training as well. Yeah, that's one of the big things, I think, you know, and just taking baby steps, right? One of the things we talked about yesterday in the presentation was the fact that being comfortable in this is sort of needs to be built into the organization. So if the leadership level in your organization is not bought into this idea, they don't understand it, they don't know why you're doing it, it's just a compliance exercise, you're going to be challenged with making this work, for starters. And so the more buy-in you can get at the leadership level to help you be more transparent, because it's really being open about what you do across the organization. This is just one more aspect, right? So I think working with leadership to get to that level. And then when you get down to the managers, they're really the key. They're the linchpin, right? Because they're the ones talking to employees and communicating. And so learning for them is important. What MassMutual had done, they did a lot of role playing with managers, because managers were very nervous about sharing the information. Like they said, I can share the information, but then what do I do when the employee asks a question? Like, what if I don't know the answer? So they were more worried about reaction. And so what MassMutual did was they did a lot of role playing, they did a lot of education, they did a lot of like sort of 3 to 6 minute videos. I said, if it's not a TikTok video, they're not going to watch it, right? It's got to be 3 to 6 minutes. So they did a lot of that kind of thing to help managers, and they were there all along the way, beside the managers, helping them with the questions, dealing with questions. And then there's always the fallback, right? HR's there to support you, but you know, you need to be able to do that communication. And there's a little bit of a challenge between like how much does HR communicate directly to the employee versus how much do they communicate to the managers, and then the manager owns that relationship. And so, you know, you want that to work, but there's also a level of consistency that you have to make sure is happening. So there's a lot of rinse and repeat in the process. Like, do it, then
find out what went wrong and then fix it and then do it again.
Yeah, we have the experience in Brazil that every time when a employee comes to a manager and asks something about the salary or a career thing, and the manager says, "Oh, that's something you have to talk to the HR. Oh, that's HR business.
Yeah.
So don't talk to me." And that brings weaknesses to the project and for the career path you designed, and also that's what we have seen in Brazil. Here is the same way.
Yeah. Well, it's historic, right? It's ingrained in us. We've always been taught, I know I grew up saying, you don't ever talk about your pay, right?
Yeah, that is my question. Like for all of them, like how much money you make? And not more than I want. Like
about this much.
Yeah.
So in a pay range is from 10,000 to 1 million.
So, what is the name of the company? Is Sapient?
Sapient Insights Group.
Sapient Insights Group.
Yes.
What do you do? What the company do exactly?
So we do a couple things. We do research and we do consulting. And the research that we do is on the HR technology side. So we evaluate all of the HR technology solutions from a voice of the customer perspective. So we send out the survey. We actually send it through the vendors. So they distribute the survey out to their customers to get feedback. And what those customers tell us is what they like, what they don't like, where the gaps are in the technology that they have, what technologies they're planning on replacing, what they're looking at, what their strategy is around those technologies. And it cuts across about 15 categories like payroll, HR, talent, comp, recruiting, all of those categories. So it's a really good collection of information, especially for organizations if you're looking to buy new technology or change your HR system strategy. There's a lot of good data in that report. We get about 6,000 people who participate in that survey.
Okay, yeah.
And that number is growing again this year. And then on the consulting side, we use that data to consult with both vendors and practitioners. On the vendor side, we help them with their roadmaps because we know what their customers are saying, so we can tell them, look, this is what we're hearing from your customers, basically what they're doing, what they like and don't like. And we can help them look at that market space. And then practitioners, we help them with their overall HR system strategy, their roadmap, their ecosystem, what they should be looking at and where they have gaps.
How many employees you have? Is small? Or?
It's a very small company. Yeah, we have about 8 people.
8 people.
And
okay.
Then we worked with a lot of contractors on, some of the larger projects we do. We also get into some change management and some leadership and culture work as well. So
good. And could you give us 3 tips in this way, to understand how can I communicate better the mission and all this stuff that we have in this compensation world? The better way to say to the people that are not from compensation area. Understand? We have a slogan here that is compensation for those that not on compensation. So we need to understand. We need to write in a napkin. There was one guy telling us in a session, if you can put in a napkin to explain something for anyone, the idea is not so good. Please give back and then understand more, train more, and then you go back again.
Yeah.
So could you give tips for people like manager and compensation guys in Brazil that to understand how to communicate better?
So, oh my gosh, I mean, there's a large gamut there of things you could talk about, but I think about a lot of people, it's funny, when I tell people I work in compensation, or just go Google compensation, everything you get back is workers' comp. That's the first thing people say to me is, do you work in workers' comp? And I'm like, no, that's not what it is. It's about pay, and it's about rewards, and it's about how we motivate people to get the job done, and pay them for the skills that they bring to the table or to the organization. So, from a communication perspective, that's usually where I focus with people is how do you talk to them about, what they are bringing and what you're bringing, because it's a shared, it's a cooperation, right? I mean, you're outsourcing a skill to me, and I'm buying that skill from you to help me build this organization. So, I don't know. Somebody said something in the big group yesterday. Did you guys go to the early session with Marcy?
Yes.
Yeah. So she was talking about how she imports everything. I loved that analogy because it's like, that's essentially what we do, right? We start a company. We don't know how to do marketing, so we hire somebody to do marketing, right? We don't know how to do the financials, so we get somebody to help us with the financials. It's all about thinking about what you're bringing to the organization and how are you going to help me turn that piece around or make that part of our business successful. And so when you start talking about it in that sort of personalized sense, I think people understand it more than saying, well, what's your salary and what's your incentive target and, do you get commission or, some other component of pay? They want to know how they're being rewarded or how they're participating in a share of the company's profit.
Yeah. It's like a dance. You have two bodies and one needs to communicate with each other, but it's different. The movement is different for each one, but it's like you have to have a same energy to indicate to another one what you need to do. So if you can do this in a communication, it will be different. Because it's not about me, it's about us. It's not something individual. It's about a collective something. I think this is today, not here in America, but all over the world. We are not listening anymore. You are just talking, and we are forgetting this important part of the humanity that we are not alone. Communicate is about us. It's not about me. Doesn't matter what is inside in my mind, because what you are understanding, if you are not getting my point, forget it. What is my mind?
Yeah, it's two ways, right? I can't just communicate to you and you just sit there and listen, right? You've got a part in this. We're communicating together, and so I need to understand what you want out of this relationship, and you need to understand what I want out of this relationship, and that's where we get back to the dance. How did I know that talking to some people from Brazil, we would start talking about music and dance, right? The tango.
Samba.
The samba,
And we always say that the T are people that are always concerned about what do I say about my compensation plan, even when you are not talking about it. You are communicating something. So if you don't talk at all, you are communicating something.
Yes.
So that's also something important that I learned in this compensation field and hearing what are the other companies are doing. So
sometimes it's about what's not being said, right? Yeah.
My last question, just a minute. Here in Orlando, we have the hot weather over there outside, and then it's cold here, like a winter. So we have a shock all the time. And take a look at my sinus. It's sinus I'm terrible because of this. Oh, but go ahead. My last question is, if you could drink a coffee with someone, anyone, who would it be? But alive, not dead.
Oh, wow.
Anyone all over the world.
Wow. Gosh, that's a tough question. I don't know. That could go a lot of ways. I always like to talk to people who are, have big ideas. They create a lot of things. somehow they just keep moving forward and people keep following them.
But bring me the name. I want a name.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I seriously would love, and this is going to be controversial, but I would love to have a conversation with Elon.
Elon?
I mean,
Elon, please come here.
I mean,
love it,
it's
yeah.
very controversial right
Yeah.
now, but still, the guy is brilliant.
He's waiting for you at a Cybertruck, just straight ahead.
I
so
understand your
go
point.
for it.
I understand this controversial part, but it's someone that I would like to talk to you, like to understand, many projects, the philosophy, ambitions, you have many things to talk.
I mean, he wants to go to Mars. He's like a friend of mine tried to go see the launch last night, and or this morning, and it got scrubbed. So he was really bummed about that. But he's just got a lot going on, and he's got a lot of great ideas. Some of them are not as good as others, but it's just that forward thinking. Like, how does this mind work?
Mm-hmm.
That's always interesting to me. I mean, I talk to a lot of people every day. I love to just talk to the people on the street, the people who run the show.
Yeah.
Like, how do you guys make all this happen behind the scenes? These people running around, keeping everything clean and in its place. Like, there's a lot of dance going on there, right?
Yeah.
A lot of
I agree with you.
orchestration.
Totally, yeah.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just sitting down with somebody who, is watching and seeing what's happening
Yeah.
and isn't participating in the discussion and just kind of getting their perspective, because that can also be extremely interesting.
Yeah, algorithm is just suggesting people like me, but I don't want to talk like people like me. I would like to talk with people that think different. And are you Republican and I'm a Democrat? Okay, go ahead, because it doesn't matter if you have another opinion about politics or everything. So we have a philosopher, a South Korean philosopher called Byung-Chul Han. We love them because part of his job is to tell to the humanity that we need to understand about everything. We need to listen. Remember the beginning, like, you need to listen. But if you are in the opposite side, I cancel you. Doesn't matter what you think. I hate you. This is the end of the humanity. We can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a HR guy, a professional, like we are working with this sort of thoughts and way of conducted their lives. So we need to understand everything.
Yeah,
there's no way.
Somebody once said to me, because I grew up, my father said, never talk about politics or religion. Mm-hmm. Right? Those were the two things.
We add football or soccer to it. So we add
football, politics, and religion.
Okay, there you go. And I said to somebody one day, I'm not supposed to talk about politics. And they said, well, how do you get through life? Like, how do you do your job? Because your job is all about politics. Politics is just working with people, right? So HR, I mean, think of all the politics in general that go on from an HR perspective. We see it all. Mm-hmm. Like, we're involved in everything. And it's not about Democrat or Republican. It's just sort of the workings of dealing with people. And every time somebody walks in our office, it's something different. It's about pay. It's about, there's been an accident. It's been, we're acquiring something. So go figure out how we're going to bring on 10,000 people in the organization. I mean, it's something different every day. Yeah. And it's always a different group of people you're dealing with a different set of experiences in their life. So, you have to be able to talk about that level of politics, right?
I agree with you. I really appreciate our conversation. Thank you so much, Terry, and I hope you has enjoyed with us too.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate getting to be a part of this. This has been fun.
Yeah. Thank you. See you maybe next year. I don't know.
E aí, tá curtindo o conteúdo? Então, rapidinho, eu tenho 2 recados para você. O primeiro é que eu não posso deixar de falar da Consulta Salarial, que é a patrocinadora oficial de todo esse evento que você está curtindo. Com a Consulta Salarial, na versão free, que você pode olhar para o seu mercado, região, segmento para tomar as melhores decisões salariais. você acessa os dados da nossa base e pode tomar decisões estratégicas para o seu negócio. E em segundo lugar, preciso dizer também para você sobre o nosso novo produto de tabelas salariais, que é a forma mais prática e rápida para você atualizar ou criar suas tabelas salariais com a ajuda dos especialistas. Se você quiser saber mais sobre esses dois produtos, tem o QR Code na tela e tem o link aqui na descrição, tá bom? Aproveita agora então o restante do conteúdo e deixa seu like. Até mais!
It's
This is too expensive in Brazil.
over there.
Yeah, look at this is
it
the way
is-
he's going. He's like sponsored by Pellegrino.
Yeah.
Pellegrino.
That's what Emerson. We're sponsored by Pellegrino.
Is it also expensive here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Brazil, it's very
I think it's
expensive.
crazy that the water, a
Yeah.
lot of places, is more than like beer.
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
liquor.
yeah.
And you're like, water's part of beer. How is that?
I told him I have to drink this because in Brazil I can afford it.
Did you try to pack?
Yeah.
You know, pack it back like the water not going this way. This is in glass though.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to Quinto You, the podcast brought to you by Pellegrino.
Yeah. Tag them. Maybe they'll be like, ah. Then you can send them an invoice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm better. Oh, yeah. Sean, how about your day yesterday? But first of all, tell us about your new mission in Seller.com. What are you doing over there?
So it's my second time to salary.com. So I was there.
Second season.
Second trip. You see how old I am because the second season is 15 years after the first season. So it's a long time. Yeah, so I don't know if you know the history of Salary because it's kind of interesting. They sold to a company called Conexa when I was there, who sold it to IBM. IBM 5 years later put it out for sale, and the original owner and founder of Salary.com and a team bought it back. And so they bought it back again. So it's their second time through, which is kind of interesting. Being bought twice isn't weird, but by the same people twice is different. So yeah, as they grow, there's a couple of different things they asked me to do. One, I'm in the market a lot, so they want to keep me in the market a lot. I don't know, does the term redneck translate?
I don't know.
Hillbilly?
Sorry?
Hillbilly?
Hillbilly.
Redneck? Country? Oh.
Red.
I don't know. Oh,
Yeah, oh, here they go. This is going to be great. This is going to be the best. So, she's going.
Redneck.
redneck, caipira.
Yeah.
Caipira?
Redneck. Redneck is someone from the
Yeah, exactly. Country?
country, from the country.
Yeah.
É um cara do campo, um caipira.
Caipira.
É um sitiante, sei lá, é um caipira.
É, mas é meio ofensivo. Tô vendo aqui.
É, você chamar um cara de caipira também é. In Portuguese, the same, like, your caipira is not something good to say for
Generally.
Yeah.
Which is why I use the term. So
Yeah.
I'm still baffled that I present as much as I present as a redneck.
Redneck.
So, because we live out in the middle of nowhere. So I'll continue to do that, which I like. And we can talk about the couple sessions I had yesterday. It's great feedback to see what actual practitioners are doing, because generally I've been around software development, and if you do it in a vacuum, you know, you're not asking them what they really want or how they actually use tools. It's not as good. I'll be working with consultancies, so from consultancies that are one or two consultants to, you know, the large global ones that everybody knows, and then how we go international. So, you know, if we should go to Brazil, you know, and then how we go there, how we partner there, and start putting that in place. So that's the three first things, and then who knows?
Oh, well. That part you told me about the white label. What can I use Seller.com, like the software and all this stuff, put my brain over there, and tell me a little bit more about this.
If you're a consultant, I mean, most practitioners don't white label it, but white label just means you're going to put it all your brand. Right? Sometimes people want it to say powered by, you know, Seller.com. Sometimes they want it completely, nobody knows. You know, basically everything from content aggregation, so survey management. You know, a lot of companies pull in a lot of different surveys. You try to create your ranges and mixes and matches. It does that. We have some data. There's a lot of surveys that are in there that would then go in there. Salary IQ is kind of new, which is scraping of data, which is pretty cool. So you can go out and see all the job postings that were in Brazil, and you can see how that lines up with your internal equity. And then comp planning. So the whole compensation and merit process. So kind of the comp process, all of it's over there, and you can buy one or all the pieces, whatever you want to do.
Who are your competitors here in America?
Almost. I mean, if you look around at some level, if you take out, we don't do a lot of consulting.
Mm-hmm.
We have consulting if companies want it. We don't do a lot of it. It's not the primary. It's a software company. But in essence, if you look at anything comp-related in here,
Mm-hmm.
salary.com will compete with them. Not everyone has the whole platform. So there's a couple like PayScale or Become, I think, has the whole platform, right? Where you can basically say we have all the data. We can help you aggregate all your other data. We can make your ranges. We can go ahead and then do the salary pieces, pull in external data, and do the comp planning. That whole process.
Mm-hmm.
There's not as many can do it, but if you look around, literally, I can see pieces of the pie.
Mm-hmm.
Point solution. So you got the choice between a platform. Do I buy it all in one place? Or do I buy point solutions, which is just one piece of that little that workflow.
What is our job title in salary.com?
VP of Product Strategy.
Okay.
Product strategy.
Strategy.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of do you like to continue?
Go ahead.
You had
It's
a lot
nice
of
you let her ask a question. That was nice, Emerson.
But he always does this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So you had a lot of sessions here, and every year you present something, or some things.
Yeah.
You get nervous. You still get nervous.
You get a little nervous. I think yesterday it's always interesting. There's that little moment, and I'm sure actors, everyone has it. So the main stage, I don't know, we had 500, 600, 700 in there.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is I try to make it interactive, so it's a little hard when it's 500 instead of talking at
You
somebody.
were at the main stage?
Yeah, both.
front of-
Well, they put me in there both
Yeah,
times
because the
yesterday.
session was there.
Yeah, the sessions were in there.
Okay.
That way I don't get lost. So they put me in there at 1 and just told me to stay in there till 4.
Is that the one with the lemon shirts? And
Yeah,
stuff?
we had
And
one.
how is to an introvert person to wear a lemon shirt in front of so many people?
500
So
people.
the interesting thing about being introverted is small groups like this on a topic aren't bad. Presenting isn't bad. The worst part about the lemon shirt is being grabbed all day for people who are going. That's the worst part about the lemon shirt. Or people, saying nice shirt or whatever. Being up there with the other 3 also had lemon-themed items on, so it was full lemon.
Yeah.
Full lemon.
We were talking about introversion, extroversion.
Yeah.
This word. You classify you as. You can classify. Is correct? This classify.
Yeah.
Are you introverted or extroverted? Is correct?
I'm very introverted, actually.
Introverted.
Yeah, so people are surprised when you do it. But I told you the name of that book. So
quiet.
I'm too.
Yeah, quiet.
Yeah.
The book. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am too.
No, you don't. So, but you don't look like an introverted guy, because
So it's all about. If you think about it, it's about your social battery, right? So if someone's feeling down or whatever it is, what do I do? An extrovert wants to go find people, right?
Okay.
Get me out and find some people. I want to go hide.
yeah.
In a common sense, when you think about compensation, it's natural to think that most of people who works with compensation are introverts. But when you come to such an event like this, you see how many extroverts there are here.
What's interesting is I think a big part of total comp and total rewards now is communications.
Yeah.
I think it's actually the extroverts are be more valued now.
Yeah, be more value. But I was reading part of the book because like you told us yesterday about, and I think the virtue, a good one for these days is how to listen, all this stuff, because we are prepared to talk every time, talk. But this is not so good sometimes. I think we need to listen, understand the others, like to get points, and the silence is good right now, I think. And
Emerson always says to me, smoke a cigarette, no, because he's pro smoking.
yeah, just a cigar,
so-
not a cigarette.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like,
so
stop to smoke a cigarette is like to think.
So you can stop and listen,
Yeah.
and then talk.
Because today everyone has opinion about everything, but they don't know. Like we have too much shit.
To do. I'm gonna take a break. I have what you have, I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go to a restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Tell me, give us your thoughts about the event. It's your first first attendee is like this. Is correct to say? Yes. Like first attendee.
This is actually my second time.
Second.
Yeah. So
when was the first?
The first time was actually back in 2012.
12 here in Orlando.
Yeah. So last time we were in Orlando was when I came. Yeah. So I was super excited when I saw that it was going to be here again this year. So, I definitely told Bruno, and I was like, we've got to get in on this one because it's so close. It's like let's not miss
here.
it.
You live here in Orlando.
I actually live in Tampa. Yeah. So just down the interstate.
And Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Exactly.
Is your team? You like?
It is. Oh yeah. My husband and I have season tickets. Yeah. So we're last year was our first year. We got the season tickets for the Buccaneers, and it's been such a blast. So we're doing it again this year.
And do you have a alligator as a pet?
I do not. Although they are spotted in some of the ponds around my house, for sure.
They always appear. So now it's the season that they come and gonna show up, So
that's a good excuse in work, So, sorry, boss, I can't leave the house because there is an alligator in front of the door. So I can use this excuse.
Yeah. Give your thoughts about the event and plus tell us your feelings like to work for a Brazilian company is something different. Do you have something different if you compare with American company? I don't know. Please tell us right now.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I've really enjoyed the event. The sessions have been great. I've enjoyed, learning, all about the AI has obviously been, I think, the number one topic here. And I've enjoyed, the one session I went to, let's create a chat bot and just learning like how easy that's going to be. So I've already talked to Bruno. We've got some ideas for what, how we want to take this back and apply it to something. But I would say my overall favorite part of the event is just all the people I've met and just like, people from everywhere. I've definitely enjoyed, hanging out with the Brazil group. Yeah. It's been fun.
You were at the dinner last night?
I was not actually, but I did make it over to the after party that the World at Work had. And that was a lot of fun. I thought they did some cute stuff there. Definitely, I've picked up a few more Portuguese phrases now, so we've been working on that. I've met people from everywhere, really, like some New Yorkers I was hanging out with. A lot of people from Phoenix have been here, and then even we've met some local people from Tampa. So that'll be like some local connections that maybe we can follow up with, but. Yeah, so I would say just meeting the different people from all over has been like the best part, and the conversations from that. And then actually, my perspective on working, here, I'm going to say as an American, right, for a Brazilian company it's actually been great, and it's actually been the longest part of my career, really. So I'm actually getting ready to celebrate 15 years.
Wow.
15 years?
15 years with QDU, yeah. Wow. So I just feel like, it's been a really good fit. The amount of like changes I've seen like through the company, over the 15 years has been great. I can't say enough that probably one of the main reasons I stay is the people. The people that we work with are just, it's a really great, talented group of people, caring group of people that are actually really genuinely, interested in like, how are you doing? And the opportunities of things that I've, gotten to work on. My career at Gerdau has all been in compensation, but, the aspects that I've taken on that I've never thought that I would ever do, like getting involved in like the LTI administration and stuff was something that I thought, oh no, that's not for me. And then it happened, right? And so I'm like, oh, this is like a whole nother like aspect of my career that's opened up. And then, comparatively speaking, I worked for several different places like before I got to Gerdau. Some of it was in compensation, some of it wasn't. I early on, right out of college, I experimented, with some other things. But none of the places, before did I really have like that longevity. And so I'm actually like, I can't believe I'm like, how did this 15 years even happen already? So it's been,
Good.
It's been a good experience, and just the exposure to, people from different cultures and stuff has really kind of opened my world up for me too. So it's been great.
Good. Beautiful story. Bruno is your, is your boss.
He is, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good leader.
If one
you
can
can
go
take your headphones
I will go
off.
to another place, so she can answer more comfortable.
Just to make you feel comfortable, he's also my leader.
Oh, there we go. From time to time, we got to keep them in line, but overall, it's what did you say? It's a journey.
It's a journey,
and we're taking this journey together, and we're learning. We're learning together.
We are learning every day, so that's the great thing.
Good. A question that if you could drink a coffee with someone, anyone, who would you be?
A live person.
Yeah.
Oh, who would I be? Oh my gosh.
Could be a
It could
famous
be a beer,
one,
it could be a glass of
professional.
wine.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't need to be a coffee.
A coffee.
I know the problem isn't the drink. I know the problem is to pick the person.
So the question was if I could pick a coffee.
Yeah.
Okay. Do not hate me for this, but I am actually not a coffee person. I've always tell people that I would like coffee. I really would love it if it didn't taste like coffee. So
what do you drink?
So I'm much more like, if I'm going for a hot drink, give me a good hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate.
Okay.
Could be a hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate.
Or a hot
That's
chocolate.
cheap. Right now.
And if you can put a little shot of raspberry in there
Raspberry.
and make it like a raspberry hot chocolate. Oh yeah.
Wow.
That is my warm drink of choice.
If
for
you could
sure.
drink a hot chocolate with raspberry, who would be the person like to share with you?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm actually just gonna come back and say I am a family girl, so I love spending time with my family, having the hot chocolate and hanging out with mom or my husband and my brother's family, and I have nieces and stuff, and just being around family is
It's good.
I just love just hanging out, keeping us simple, having fun with them is great.
I got this. And you, Bruno? I've answered you. I've asked you about this. A cup of coffee.
I don't think
with
so.
No, I
So,
know what.
who would it be for you?
That's a great question, and I would say with my wife, with my daughter. I love to be together. So like him, I'm a family person. So I had a question similar. That was, if you're gonna take a dinner, who you take that with?
Yeah.
And I would do with my family. My wife, my daughter. I love to arrive home and they are there and we are talking about the day and having fun, and you see that girls start to grow and So it's amazing. That's a unique opportunity, and we need to live this every day. So
Okay, he made a cop of your answer. But okay, Bruno is a nice guy, so
I paved the path on that one.
thank you.
Kim, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here with you, like in Quinto Dia with podcast in Brazil. So we're gonna share these conversation for all over the country, and I don't know.
Wow, I'm gonna be famous.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, this good.
Okay, yeah, I can.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, please.
A little closer right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, caiu a tampa.
Okay, Mr. Hampton, welcome to Quinto Dia with podcast.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
You know, what do you know about Brazil, Florianopolis, and?
I know it's a place I'd really like to visit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we do a bit of traveling, so we spent a lot of time in South America. Last year we were in Buenos Aires for about 2-3 months. We were in Lima prior to that.
Lima.
And a lot of our friends went down to Brazil this year. Fortunately, I'm getting married in September, so
really?
traveling that far south while we're trying to plan a wedding it's difficult enough without traveling. So
And for honeymoon, where are you going to spend it?
we're going to Greece, Italy, and then eventually Copenhagen before we come back.
Wow.
Copenhagen.
So
Yeah. Copenhagen.
Denmark.
Denmark. Yeah. Beautiful.
yeah.
Are you a kind of influencer? Because I'm following you on LinkedIn, and you have many interesting things. Like this is a part of your job, and you like to do this.
It is. I've done comp for about 15 years, and I'm kind of stubborn. So one of the things I thought we would be able to do is build a platform. So that's what kind of we started with Comp Tool. And while we were building that, I've always been a comp person. I've always really enjoyed just staying a comp person. Like I am a business person now because I have to be, but I still consider myself first a comp person, and then I'm running a business. So for me to be able to kind of stay as part of comp, being able to talk to comp people, have those conversations with consultants, and bringing people in much smarter than me to learn how people are managing compensation has been one of the really fun things that we're doing every 2 weeks on our webinars. But we're always kind of interacting with folks through the platform and kind of trying to understand what they're doing so we can keep building things better, because, you know, it's been a couple of years since I've been doing it, and I feel like I'm running out of ideas myself.
As a businessman, do you miss this comp activity? You know, so do you say sometimes, I just want to stay here quiet and calculate some pay ranges, don't talk to me, because you know, so
That was my favorite part about comp, is you could jump in and work with people when you really wanted to, but then when you had those days where you really wanted to just close the doors, close the windows, and focus on a spreadsheet and build the ranges, you could do that. But I think where I've had taken a lot of joy is being able to build those things and then talk to comp people to understand how are they using it, you know, what do they need us to do. So yeah, a little bit of both.
Do you like football?
Which football? Are we talking American football, or are we talking?
It's not about soccer. You know, like here is soccer, but football, American football.
I do. Yeah.
Are you into sports?
A little bit. I like them for the social aspect, but I can't say I know who's a quarterback for what team, or
Okay.
I don't even know what the scores are.
That's a good way to say I like for the social aspect. I like to, because always when you talk about sports, you have a beer by your side, and that's what I like.
Yeah. It's the energy's fun.
Yeah.
What is the how can I say, but what is the best market to make you money here in America? Like you know about the data here. Like we have a special one. Like I don't know if you got my question, but I would like to understand here this market, your market.
The best. So like if I were looking for a job,
yeah.
Where would I?
If you are
where
looking
should
for
I
a
go?
job, yeah.
Oh boy, there's so many different avenues that I think people can follow. There's always the tech area where, I mean, but at the same time too, sure, you can make a lot of money. I went and worked for tech companies after working for retail companies. And what I actually found was you can move to places where they pay a lot more. So Seattle's where I spent a lot of years.
California.
But with those bigger salaries, there's bigger rents. So it somehow finds a way to balance itself out. But yeah, I think what we're seeing, and this conference has been amazing. I think you could walk in and think this was an AI conference. So I think kind of looking at where things are going, the leading edge of technology is where I would tell kids to go today. But also sales. I mean, a lot of times what I've seen is sales teams, especially if they're good at it, they can make more than the CEO, and they have in many of the companies I've worked for in the past.
Even in Brazil, we have the same situation. Yeah. Like AI conference. I have a question that this event in one word, and you told me AI conference. What do you think about next? Like, because this year they are not focused on hard skills, but they are focused on the softy aggregating with this AI technology that can help us like to work more efficient, not to work hard, but to use this technology in our favor. So what do you think for the next technology here? I don't know, because every event you are doing something like do you know how many conferences like that you have been before?
We've been to several different conferences, sure. Yeah, and so I think where I see things happening, I get emails from folks fairly regularly say, with all the new technologies, the AI, am I going to have a job in 5 years? I just got my CCP. I've been working on that for 10 years. Do I have 5 years even left in this career? And I say absolutely. Because when we look at comp is half art, half science. The science is just going to get easier. And I think we're going to be able now to start focusing on more strategy instead of benchmarking jobs or playing in spreadsheets. It's still going to be important, but just like an accountant, calculators didn't take away accountants' jobs. They just made them a lot easier and a lot more efficient. And so I think that's what we're going to start to see with the AI piece. But compensation is not about money. It's about motivating people. And I think we're going to start to see that AI helps us get back to that piece of it.
And because you created Comp tool, can I say it so? Is that because you had hard times finding a tool for comp as back in the time where you were a comp analyst, I don't know, a comp professional?
Yeah, so when I created Comp Tool, I had worked for a company, we had a platform, and then the second company I went and worked for had nothing. I was like, I don't know how you could do this job without software like that. So I built a Microsoft Access database, and that's when I kind of realized, actually I've kind of figured out the secret sauce behind it. Went and we hired developers, and I was working 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. And then again from 5 p.m. to 10 or 11 p.m. and spending half my paycheck to build this. And so the reason why I thought it was so important and just something that I had to do was I thought we could build something better and a little more easy to use. And I think we've done a really good job of that. But yeah.
Cool.
It's something rude if you ask for an American like how much money you make.
It's funny. We as comp people have to, I think, assume that everybody talks about that. I've been on a train and I've heard two workers kind of talking back and forth. Well, how much do you make? How much do you make? And what's funny is they made different amounts, and it's like, well, I wonder why. I guess you've been here a little bit longer, but at the same time, too, I think it's taboo to ask. But I think if we as comp people think that nobody talks about that, we're wrong. They do. They do.
There is no black box. Do we say black box in English?
Yeah. This is funny because we talk about transparency and all this stuff, and as you told me, like you assume that everybody knows about this because but when you ask, but here in America we were talking like job position is something that evaluate this so good, like to say that you are a director, a VP or something, and the money is the same. Bruno was telling us that if you get more money for some reason, like you get a promotion or other thing, you need to show this, buying another car or a boat or something, This is the way the economy here is working, and it's working well. So this is different. Like this is something that is not like Brazilian market, but is understand to is funny to understand. Like
there is something with ego mixed, So with this question, in Brazil we say we earn money, and here you make money.
Yeah,
that's something different too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're right. There's a lot of competitive nature in different parts of the world, different countries, where you feel that once you earn or make that money, you want to show that off. And one of the things I found interesting with all my travels too is I don't think money equates to happiness, and it's one of the things that I think that we need to think about too. Mexico is one of the happiest countries in the world, and it's not one of the greatest economies. It's not in the top 5. I think it's the 17th largest economy. It's a big economy, but the focus isn't on money. It's about family and culture and celebrating things that not everybody celebrates. And so I think when you hear that, I think that's one of the challenges that we oftentimes forget is it's not just about money. It's about what makes you happy and what are the intrinsic values that we have. And I think for comp people, knowing your employees and how to focus on building a culture that people can get behind takes that piece out of it. So it's a little bit more meaningful to folks.
Yeah. Like in Brazil, we love to drink a coffee with someone. It's something that we do. But Bruno told me, like, it's not drink a coffee here. If you would have a dinner with someone, who would it be? Anyone.
Alive.
If I could have a dinner with anybody alive, I think Barack Obama would be a really interesting person to speak with.
I agree.
Just the political affiliations completely aside, someone that rose to that level and was able to be that charismatic to convince hundreds of millions of people that he would be the best leader, I think is always just fascinating. Understanding when you're running something that large. You have to rely on the experts and know that you've brought the experts in, knowing that you don't know everything and accepting that, but trusting the people around you.
Yeah.
I think that would just be fascinating to kind of understand, what is that like? What would a regular day be like? And what would the biggest fears and concerns be for someone running something like that?
Yeah. And my choice would be Michelle Obama, because I always think being a wife from such a powerful man, he's always busy and always doing things, so great things. And I think about the responsibility that she has because she can't fail because she's his wife, and that's something hard to. And how she seemed like to do this in an easy way. So she was leve. How can I say that?
Soft.
Soft. So she didn't. It didn't seem like she was suffering from it,
No, yeah, and I think she's an incredibly powerful and influential person in her own right too. So I think you would have to be to be in that position.
Yeah, Barack, the way he talks is like it's not easy to understand English, but like a global leader, the way he talks is easy for the world understand him, and he's smart. And I'm following this documentary. Is correct? Documentary. Yeah, he's producing with his wife. There is a huge production.
American industry.
Yeah, it's one of them, but he is producing a lot of documentaries all over the world, like telling stories about the world issues and very other things. So he's a smart guy.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I really liked about him was just being so open to other opinions and not dismissing them because he disagreed with them, but understanding and kind of being empathetic towards other views. You may not have to agree with them, but being empathetic towards those, I always thought was a really fascinating trait that he was able to embody.
And my last point is, you told me that you like to be in Brazil. You would like to know some way to say some words and other things. You know something about Brazil, like the Portuguese. You know how to.
Yeah, I know it's Portuguese. So yo solo puedo hablar español, pero no puedo hablar portugués. Es más difícil y es porque no quiero ir a Brasilia porque es más difícil. Solo puedo hablar español.
You look like an Argentine, and if you habla español, you have a problem. No, I'm just kidding you. But in Portuguese, you can say, e aí, tudo bem? E aí?
E aí, tudo bem?
Yeah.
Tudo bem.
Tudo bem.
That's like, what's up, man?
What's
e
up?
aí, tudo bem?
E aí, tudo bem?
Tudo bem.
Isso, cara. E aí, tudo bem? Good. And if you go to Rio de Janeiro, e aí, meu irmão? E aí, meu irmão? Meu irmão. It's like my brother,
Bro.
but they connect
bro.
all the words like in one. Like we have two words to become one.
Sure.
Like meu irmão.
When I began to learn languages, I always thought that if I say banana, I won't starve. And if I say beer, I won't starve even. Because beer is Bira, beer in Deutsch, in German. So I won't starve and I won't be thirsty.
Universal language.
Yeah. So banana
Fernando
and beer.
speaks German.
Banana and beer, you will survive.
Sir Hampton, thank you so much.
No, I really appreciate the time. Thank you guys for making time for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.